Coming up, we're going to be talking about our highlights of Disneyland for the year 2018. And a little bit later, we'll be doing the best and worst quick service in Disney California Adventure. So from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, and from points around Southern California, this is the Disneyland edition of the DIS Unplugged. This is episode 754 of the Disneyland edition of the DIS Unplugged for the week of December 10th, 2018. The DIS Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Ryan O'Clavin, and before I get started saying anything, I'm going to introduce everybody that's here with us today. So, all the way from California, but still in California, we've got Tyler Crouch.
Hey, everyone.
Katrina Manzoni.
Hey, everybody.
And Luella Loriola.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. And then in the back, Mr. Craig Williams.
Ahoy.
Hey, everybody. I just want to let everybody know that if you are not watching the Tuesday show, then you might not be aware of this, but our shows go on a little bit of hiatus for a couple of weeks this time of year, and this will be the last Disneyland edition of the DIS Unplugged for the year. We will still have other content going up on our YouTube channel, of course, so you can check that out at youtube.com/DIS Unplugged and get your DIS Unplugged fix over the holidays. This has been a pretty interesting year for me specifically, and for the DIS Unplugged and for the Disneyland edition of the show as well. So I thought it might be good, instead of doing our what we're most excited in the land for, that we could just do kind of a look back on 2018 and talk a little bit about some highlights that we had. So you know what, Luella, I'm going to start with you today.
Yes, well, 2018 was always an exciting year at the Disneyland Resort, but I really was excited for PIXAR Fest and the layover, the redo of the whole pier area. We were so excited, in fact, that we actually stayed at the Grand that week of opening weekend, and I actually coughed up the money of the $300 to go to be one of the first to experience it. It was a lot of money, but in general, it was a lot of fun. I thought they did a fantastic, beautiful job of PIXAR Fest. I was able to ride Incredicoaster, and I thought that was a great layover. What they did overlay. Mm-hmm. And in general, I think that's probably been my highlight of 2018, PIXAR Fest and the whole pier area, all the eating and the food and the dining. So that's for me. That's my number one.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my highlights of 2018, because I was lucky enough to go out there for a media event or a social media event that we were invited to partake in. I had this random, I was there for a day and a half, essentially. They flew me out on Tuesday, and I flew back out on Thursday, and it was cool. I was lucky enough to experience some of that stuff beforehand, because for those of you who don't know, the pier's been opening sort of in phases, I want to say. It's definitely not even completely done.
That's the problem, I thought, with the grand opening.
Yeah.
Not everything was there yet.
Yeah, right? They only just have Big Bong as of a couple days ago of recording this, and so it's been going. The sweet shop wasn't open in the beginning. It wasn't open in July either. It was opening that week when I left there and stuff. So
and we still have 2 attractions coming. Jesse's Carousel is still coming, and then also the Emotional Whirl, or whatever they're going to call it, which is one of the old Bugs Land rides. So we've still attractions to go. It's kind of strange how kind of staggered this opening has been, but I do love it overall.
Yeah, it was basically a grand opening to the name changing on the pier, I feel like, and the coaster.
Yes, yeah. And even Luxo Lamp Jr. only showed up not too long ago.
Yeah, recently, yeah.
to introduce everyone to the Pixar pier, but it's still great. I love it.
I do really, really enjoy. I think Incredicoaster is definitely a great addition to the park. I do understand it's just California screaming with the overlay, but like with the Incredibles theme song playing behind you and trying to race around and get Jack back, it adds this whole element where it adds in a story that wasn't necessarily there before, so it brings that Disney storytelling into that attraction. And I think it's a lot of fun. And when we were doing that media event, I was able to like ride it several times throughout the day, and the nighttime I've decided is the sweet spot for me for that attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love characters. I think everybody knows that. I mean, I love it more than my kids. So to see Edna Mode there was so exciting on the ride, and then a meet and greet. That was enough for me.
Do your kids go on the roller coaster too, or is that just a mom thing?
My two youngest are too scared, but my oldest does.
Okay.
He can ride it, and I can only ride it once, sadly. But I rode it.
Yeah.
Girl, don't worry.
Yeah. I need a space.
I can't do the loops.
Well, it like makes me feel like my head is being depressed all the way back down into my chest. So I like to space it out. I can't do it in a row. There's a video of me having ridden it 3 times in a row on the channel somewhere, and it looks like I'm going to throw up. So because I was. But no, that whole pier area, there are a lot of highlights over there for me. I also. Katrina, I think you want to talk about one of the highlights too for you, which is one for me too, is the transformation of the Cove Bar and Ariel's into Lamplight Lounge.
Yeah, everybody we've talked about it throughout the year when Lamplight Lounge opened, and there's been like hits and misses of the whole thing, but all in all, I thought it was a really great transformation. It's sad to see the princess stuff go from Ariel's Grotto, but I'm really happy that it's like a really cool lounge. And for me, the highlight was we were all able to go for my birthday to Lamplight Lounge. And I don't really get to have a lot of people around me on my birthday because of just the timing in August. So I was really, really happy for that you were actually able to come out, Rhino. And and then we were able to go in the private room of Lamplight Lounge because we had the minimum amount of people to get in there, which were like 8 people. So we got to have like the little balcony overlooking the Incredicoaster when they take off. So we're able to like wave to everybody.
They didn't wave back.
No, they didn't wave back.
That was a cool experience for me too. Like I said, I have a lot of highlights from this year. That was definitely one of them. That for those of you who don't know, the office is a like kind of a hidden room inside of Lamplight Lounge where if you have a certain number of guests in your party, I don't know how they're still doing it because they said even to us then that they weren't sure how it was going to change. Sometimes you can go up and just ask really nicely and they'll let you in. Because essentially, I don't know if they have it now, but there was no way to book that room specifically ahead of time. But they said that could change in the future. So, but you have to like turn the knob on the door and get like all the lights to click through and power up the door to open it up, and then you go inside and there's a bunch of chairs and the table and they have all these old board games everywhere that you can play while you're waiting. But my highlight during that meal, beyond spending your birthday with you, was finally being able to talk the waiter or the server into giving me the peanut butter and jelly sushi roll thing, and he was not going to give it to me. And I was like, there are 10 people here ordering $30 to $40 each. You don't want to just bring me one? Like, come on, man.
That was insane. Like, I was surprised they were giving you such a hard time on it, because when we went with Pete, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. You guys are ordering enough food. It's not like I'm ordering it as an entree. It was like more of like an appetizer.
I don't understand why they do this sort of stuff with the kids' meals. If somebody wants to order a kids' meal, just let them do it. I mean, for a while at the Carthay Circle Lounge, if you wanted to order one of the kids' items and you were an adult, they would charge you double for it. So Katrina would get a grilled, she'd get like a $20 grilled cheese that was like this big. And it's just like,
we would fight for the price, though. I'd be like, absolutely not. But anyway, besides that, like,
I just feel like they lose money because then we just don't get any food there, you know? So it's just
you need to borrow one of my kids, just sit there so that you can order.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for the offer.
Here, go with these people.
Let them sit there.
We need to take you to Universal Studios Orlando so we can go ride that little like dinosaur ride.
Yeah, I want to ride the dinosaur ride.
She just tricked you into babysitting. But yeah, I think
that's my secret.
Yeah. I do think that Lamplight Lounge for me, I know there was the hesitation about the Cove Bar being transformed, but I still got the lobster nachos over there. I still enjoy them. It is sad to see the secret drink menu kind of get diminished a little bit in size and quantity, but the price goes up.
The drinks in general are not as great anymore, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drinks definitely used to be better. I somehow feel like they started realizing that people were going there to get pretty drunk, and they were like, "We got to tone these drinks down."
Yeah,
guys. So
they're very sweet there, but I do enjoy it really because I feel like it makes that whole area into more of I don't want to say upscale. Well, I'm gonna say it, upscaled experience. Like if you're a massive Pixar fan, it's like, oh, look at my cool restaurant you can come into. But that was definitely a highlight for me too. Tyler, did you come up with a highlight for you?
I did. Mine's a little strange, but I think that my highlight was the cancellation of the new hotel in downtown Disney, because
that's a good positive outlook.
That's Disneyland people for you.
Well, I just think that it was going to create so much of a problem, and it was going to raise the prices of all the hotel rooms. And it was going to be a horrible, I don't know, an eyesore, basically. I thought that the hotel seemed cool at first, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, actually, this is probably not a good thing. We were going to lose all sorts of, we already lost the SPN zone. That's probably not coming back. And now all the businesses that went out are slowly starting to come back. The other Starbucks just opened again, or is about to open. No, it just opened, I think. And it's just like, it was, so the thing that excites me the most about the cancellation of the hotel, though, is that I really think that they're going to use that downtown Disney space to expand downtown Disney at this point.
More food choices.
Which I would think would be really cool. One of the rumors I heard was that there's going to be kind of like upscale, not upscale, but just like quick service locations that aren't, like a McDonald's or something. It's going to be a nicer quick service area, kind of like Disney Springs has a lot of those places like Deluxe Burger and things like that. I would like to see that out there. So that's one of the things that was my highlight. I was like, it was really a shame that they, laid off so many people and all that stuff just so that none of this could go through. But hopefully, in the long run, we see a turnaround for downtown Disney. So I'm hopeful that's why it's my highlight, because I'm hopeful that things will be better.
And we got a pedestrian bridge.
A pedestrian bridge.
Yeah, they're building
more parking.
More parking.
Yeah, more parking. Yeah, they're building a pedestrian bridge from the parking lot over to downtown Disney now. So
interesting.
That's something that is actually really needed, because it was really getting clogged up over there, and it was a pain in the butt. And more people are starting to realize, the security lines at the trams are really bad. So if we walk, it'll just be better. And that's what's, so it's just, the pedestrian bridge is a required thing, and it took us too long to get one. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Craig? I had to look up to double check, but do you have a highlight that you can think of? I'm sure you've been a couple of times this year.
Yeah, no, I was there 2 or 3 times this year. I think for me, I was one of the few people, I think, that actually loved everything about Pixar Fest. I enjoyed the specialty limited time food options that were available part of it. I really loved Together Forever, the Pixar Nighttime Spectacular, whatever the entire full name was of it. I enjoyed watching the Pixar Play Parade roll down Disneyland. So it's especially, it's nice to sometimes have parades that aren't as popular, because then you can walk up and like 15 minutes before it starts and get a nice spot for it. And I was able to do that multiple times with this parade. And, you know, it hit for me in all the right ways with PIXAR Fest, just because of how much PIXAR means to me. So while it wasn't the most popular thing overall, it worked for me.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about
I thought you were going to say going with your wife to experience PIXAR Fest.
Well, I mean, that was part of it. And I mean, it's a lot of stuff you have already covered. So I was so happy that I got to take my wife to see PIXAR Fest, because she was so upset when we were out there I think it was like a week after it started, when we were there in April.
Yeah.
And so that was her, or March, I don't even remember now. That was like one of her biggest things that she was very irritated with, that I was getting to see all the PIXAR stuff without her, because that's one of the things that we both share in common, is our love for PIXAR. So then to be able to take her out there and see the PIXAR Pier after it opened, and we basically saw it in its state that it's in right now, with the exception of Luxo, and Bing Bong's was open, just no Bing Bong there, as we've already said. Now he is. But yeah, but no, we got to see it and experience everything, eat at Angry Dogs, get my cookie num num, and just hit all of the highlights. Tried out the Abominable Snowman's frozen treats, just everything.
I do look forward to trying those again when it's not immediately melting in my hand. That was the hard part about when I experienced that one, was like they handed it to me and it was like just dripping down everywhere, and I was like, oh, this time of year it might be a little better, but I did enjoy that.
It might be. It's a little chilly when you're going to be out next, so
yeah.
And the lines died down like tenfold. There's no line anymore.
Yeah,
but I think every inch of that pier is so well themed. There is a Instagram pictureable moment everywhere. I love it. Even down to all the hot sauce at Angry Dogs.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about Angry Dogs, is the fun sauces and everything like that. And I love that carries. I just like that it can carry through to the churro cart even. You've got all the different types of churros they have there now. And then, like you said, Luella, they have a lot of really awesome Instagrammable, stuff that's kind of changing all the time too, a little bit too, right? Because they had they had the hearts that were making the Luxo ball, and then I believe it's Wally now, and who knows what it'll be next. But I do enjoy that. For me, I have been to Disneyland more this year. Definitely the most this year than I've been in a long time. I was fortunate enough to do an Adventures by Disney in August, a Backstage Magic tour, which was really cool. In Craig, I know you've done that one twice, maybe. Mm-hmm. And that was a really interesting experience to be able to go to the Jim Henson Studios to see Imagineering, and then go to Disneyland. And it was Eli came with me, and it was kind of cool to bring somebody for their first Disneyland experience out there too, and kind of see how it was going to go. Because everybody has their very specific, I want you to do this and see this and experience this, and it was weird to do that, but with Adventures by Disney and have to let somebody else do it. So that was definitely a highlight for me. Ouch. I really enjoyed. It was incredibly stressful to do while we were doing it, but when I think back on it, I do enjoy our experience of what we love about Disneyland, the video series that we did. We did this right after we had, Craig and myself and Pete had been in Italy for over 2 weeks, and then a week and a half later we went to Disneyland for a week to film this thing that we were just kind of going nonstop for. And I look back on just the little 30-second opening video I did, and it's just I don't remember necessarily all the difficult stuff that went into making that. I think about Teresa smiling in the teacups, and that makes me think about the story where she ran the kid over in the scooter now, and so it makes me smile. And
I also, when we got in the teacups together, she had a knee injury, and if you don't know me, I am about 6'4" in my heels, or just normal shoes, whatever you want to call them.
Your pumps.
And yeah, my pumps. And so I got in the teacup. Teresa got in first because I'm like, okay, go sit down in there first and get comfortable. Then I'll come in. And by that point, there was no room left. So I just kick her knee like first thing. And so she was like on the verge of tears just before we started moving. And then I made her sick spinning it all around, trying to get the perfect shot for it. But I can say it because Pete's not in the room now. And it's a little peek behind the curtains. But it's awesome what came of that, because
it was a nightmare to do.
It was a nightmare to do, and Pete would not really give us any ideas about what was going to happen.
No.
The only thing that we knew for sure that was happening is who was going to be there and what locations Disney picked out for us. And beyond that, we didn't have a single clue of what was actually going to happen. I think we were there for
7 days, and 2 of those days we had a schedule.
Yeah.
And the rest is like what Craig said. We knew who was there. We didn't know who was filming who. We didn't know what they were filming. Also, the interviews took place after we had the time to film stuff. So it essentially became everybody wrote something down on a piece of paper about what they were going to say. Nobody said what they were going to say, and everybody said something else. So that was fun the last day, trying to figure out, do I have enough footage for this? Do I have enough of this? But it was one of those moments looking back on it that I saw, there were shots that I was going through, and I was like, there are some really cool looking like little seconds of shots in there. And do I ever want to do a video series like that again? Probably not. But I think about it, and it was one of those like chaotic things that somehow came together.
I will never forget on that final day too. No one was with me. I went in the park by myself first thing in the morning. Tyler was setting up for best and worst shows, and you were sleeping, like always. Yeah. And I went in and rode Splash Mountain because I had the GoPro with me, and I needed to record it because one person, I think, mentioned Splash Mountain. I don't even think the footage got used.
No, it did not.
After all said and done. But Splash Mountain in Disneyland is one of those things that it can be one of the most enjoyable rides, or it can be a nightmare. And in my situation, I of course wanted to be in the front row because I had the GoPro, and I was like, okay, hopefully they balance me out with some heavy people in the back. No, I would say there was 2 individuals right behind me that either weighed the same or actually probably more than me, all in the front. So we didn't the first lift hill where you do your first dip down. By that point, it was already completely soaked before we went down a single drop.
I need to see that footage.
It's on a GoPro somewhere.
I was going to say, I don't even think I have that footage because nobody ended up mentioning it, so I didn't need it.
Yeah, and I had my backpack with me. It had my good camera in there.
Oh, Lord.
I had every valuable
I remember you being soaking wet when I saw you, because I don't remember if I met you in the park or you came back to the hotel, but I remember you were just like drenched, and I was like, what happened? Like,
it's and I've been in that situation with other people before where they're the ones who get it and I'm safe, but this was like, it's the first 30 seconds of the ride, it already was a typhoon inside the log, and that happens every single time you dip back down after a drop, or even some areas where it's just like it feels like the water gets a little higher and there's more room for the boat to dip down. So if you're heavy, I recommend asking to sit in the back of the log on Splash Mountain, unless you really want that good video.
What was great about that trip, like they can be. When you see a video like the What We Love About Disneyland, I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but the whole when I find success, the success is making it look effortless. So I edited that video nonstop for weeks, from like 8 a.m. until 2 a.m. every day. And so it took me a long time to do it. But we have that little time capsule of like that thing that I will remember the good stuff. But when we film a video like that, when we are at the parks, it's not just the editing takes that long, but we're in the parks we were in the park like, I don't know, like 6 a.m. one day until like it closes. Because Craig and I, when we are out there, do not waste a second of time in Disneyland. We don't want to be there. But what was cool is we still find a little way to try something new every time. And what I love looking back, and this isn't at Disneyland, but it's about a Disneyland trip, was we got to go to the brewery on that trip.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool place that I have since gone back to too, that and we stayed at a new hotel that I hadn't stayed at either, the Hotel Indigo, and I really liked that too. So there's a lot of you got to look for your highlights in there, and that's what it's all about. But
Speaking about making those videos too, like I can't believe I forgot about this, but a huge highlight for me was going into the Dream Suite. Like when we got to go into the Dream Suite, that was the first time I ever been in there. And when we were interviewing Charles and stuff like that, like sometimes I would like walk in and see how Katrina was doing or whatever.
I'd be crying the whole time. Just I was crying the whole time in the lobby.
But they basically, they didn't want us to be alone, so they had a tour guide with us the entire time, like a plaid, and she was just kind of setting. There's like little effects that happen. There's like in the living room area. There's like the clock can do all these different things. There's like a tiki room one where the birds like started coming to life throughout the living room, and they all started singing the tiki room. And there was the Jungle Cruise or Jungle Book bedroom where like it was amazing. They had all these different projectors on the walls and stuff, and you could see a pirate ship appear out of nowhere. And there was a painting on the wall where mermaids would just appear suddenly. Like it was great. And I've never, I never got to see any of that stuff before. So it was fantastic going up there too. That was a great highlight.
I didn't take any of the napkins from the bathroom in there.
We did not take any at all.
Yeah. We did not. We respected it.
I'm sitting right over there.
Supposed to.
But even that filming location in front of the castle, I know that you and Tyler got to use it again with the Masters of Magic series. But like for us, the first time being like when we were up in the Dream Suite, a lot of it was before park opened.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like anything major. But then the location we were at in front of the castle, like. It was a huge production. The lights were massive. There were so many people there, and like I really don't want to say it sounded like an egocentric maniac, but
no, you felt like a celebrity.
Yeah, it was fun having people like look at us like, who are they? And we're like, you will never find out who we are.
Like, my interview was there, and it was so scary having people stare at me the whole time. But it was fun though. I was behind the castle.
Oh yeah, try having your camera fail halfway through the interview and having no one there for that one. That one was fun.
But I think for me, like someone who was watching it and didn't know how all this production is, it does look beautifully done, effortless. I wouldn't even know all that stuff happened just watching the film. So I think, job well done. And really,
thank you, Luana.
It's a lovely.
You'll be in the next one. Don't worry.
Yeah. Check your Venmo account. Your tip just got added.
I wouldn't. Everything you're saying, I can't even fathom that happened.
Well, what's really cool is Disneyland, the people, when we work with them on something like this, they're very accommodating and they do what we can. So if they're like, oh, you guys want to film something like this? Let's see what we can do. They always say, let's see what we can do. And one of the things that I was really into that time of year too is they added the Black Panther meet and greet. So they set up, they brought me in to meet the Black Panther, and at that time it was the Scarlet Witch. Black Widow was in there with him, and they had like the Dora Milaje was outside, and it was cool because they had me come in the room first, and then he came in after, and so I had a little bit of an extended interaction with him, and it was. I would get very nervous talking to the characters, and so it was very nerve-wracking. But I think very fondly of. I loved the Black Panther movie, but now I have this like little special Black Panther memory too, where like we chatted for a few minutes, and it was really cool. So, other than that, I mean, Luella and I were talking about it before the show, but the return of Paint the Night is definitely was a highlight for me. I know it's gone again currently at the moment, but I don't love parades. I love that parade so much.
Everything about it, the music, the floats, it just gets you pumped up. It's the first time that it was at DCA, and I think it was, because there's no World of Color, so it's nice to have an evening parade over there. So, and I love that parade too. I never want to see it go. When everyone was sad about Electrical Parade going, I could understand that, but when you see Paint the Night, it's hands down, I think the best parade that Disney has.
I agree. I completely agree. But, so those were our highlights of Disneyland. I'm sure the second we are done recording this episode, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to mention this or that or anything. But I have had some really cool experiences. Like I said, the Adventures by Disney, that Pixar media event I went to was really cool because we got to experience all that Pixar Pier stuff that I was talking about. But they also like told us how Disney thinks about social media, and I'm always thinking about that now, and it's just a fascinating thing. So I feel like I've gotten a lot closer with Disneyland this year. So
I'm glad.
You know, we're becoming more intimate, Disneyland and I. But yeah, so well, thank you guys for having that little conversation with us. Let's move on to our best and worst quick service in Disney California Adventure. For those of you who might have watched last week's episode, you saw that we did this for Disneyland Park, and now we thought, why not do it for California Adventure as a little before the end of the year. So what we did, we just kind of kept it the same format that Pete had it at. Rather than rank them all, we just picked a favorite and a least favorite. Now, I struggled. What do you think? Let's do worst first.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with Craig.
Okay, I went back and forth on this one because originally I was going to say Corn Dog Castle because it's sacrilege to eat there. I will say I did like during PIXAR Fest when they did have the one specialty corn dog that had like the three different. That's the only
time I've eaten there, and that was good.
The three different ones in there, but your standard options, you have the regular corn dog, you have the hot link dog, and then you have the cheese dog. And I think a lot of my hatred for that stemmed because of the cheese dog. There's no hot dog in it. It's just a freaking piece of cheese inside a corn dog outside.
It sounds like hot dog on a stick. They do the same thing.
Yeah, I get that, but lots of people like lose their mind over this, and it's like it's freaking cheese in a corn dog. It's not anything to get excited about. I am very passionate about it.
It's like a deep fried grilled cheese. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's stupid. But you know what? I figured because I did have I was cool with like the PIXAR Fest thing, and you know what? It's still not as good as a Disneyland corn dog from the Little Red Wagon, but it's not inedible. I can't call it the worst, but I hate the Chinese restaurant, the Lucky Fortune. I know we said that. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like theme park Chinese food.
I agree with you. I just don't like it. My thing is there's nothing really. It's kind of, Chinese food, everybody likes the Chinese food from the town where you're from, I guess. You know what I mean? The Chinese food you grew up with and stuff. And usually it's not priced the same amount as Disney food. But I will say this is actually my least favorite, was the Lucky Dragon 2. I have the least amount of experience with it, I think. But there is a tea there, though, that I really like. That's like an iced tea that has like this foam on it. That's really good. And I like there's like dumplings. But other than that, I don't really get anything to eat there.
It's just calories you're wasting in between margaritas and beer.
That is true. Luella, this is your least favorite too, though, isn't it?
I think it's my least favorite, although, I'm Asian, and sometimes I'm with like my cousin, and they want rice, and we can get rice there, like pure Asian rice. So, but it's just not that good, and you have to desperately feel like at least some Asian type of food to eat there. I like that there's an option there.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. It's not that great. And, I
don't think it holds up to what's around it. It's nestled in right there with several other places. And it's like, it's almost like it's not good by comparison. If it was isolated,
people
maybe.
They're like, I want to eat that. I'm like, you really? Okay, I'm telling you now. And, They get their fix. I guess that's what it is. They just feel like some Asian food, so it's fine. But I was like, even for a quick service with a $1 sign, I feel like it's a waste of money.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Katrina? What do you think?
Award wieners.
What?
I hate it. It's just
I love award wieners. It's so themed.
I every time if we have to go, it's either it's too long of a line, and then it's a horrible wait to get your food. It's supposed to be quick service. It's supposed to be quick. They have to hand you a number, and then everybody's just like hanging out at the window because they don't get it, just to like back off and wait for your number to be called. And then when you try to go sit down, there's nowhere to sit down because everybody's just using that overhang as shade and like sitting there and like whatever. And then for me, I just don't like theme park hot dogs. Like there's like good hot dogs with natural casing, but like they're They're gross, and I can't.
I will say I agree with you. This line is always stupid long for some reason, and I don't. Yeah, no, I'm saying it's. I actually think the hot dogs here are good, but I'm always deterred from actually eating there because I don't want to deal with that line at all, and like. So I don't understand what takes so long. It's simple food that should be able to be made fast.
I mean, I'll give you that. It is a hot dog stand. I will disagree completely with not liking a theme park hot dog, though. The best type of hot dogs are the ones that are handed to you wrapped up in tinfoil from some mystery man's cart. But the more sketchy the hot dog comes from, the better it is. But what I love about award wieners, though, is that they rotate, like that there's always a featured item there, and I mean, Disneyland's great about that in general, but always specifically award wieners has something, and I think I like that about them. I don't know.
And I like that it has one of the funnest names to say.
Yeah.
None of the most fun names to say.
It is very fun.
Yeah. I like how tacky it looks. Like that street has a lot of issues, but then when you get to award wieners, it's like this is the essence of everything that is wrong with this entire area
you
right
mean
now.
Schmoozies
and schmoozies too, between the two of them.
Schmoozies is easily my least favorite named thing in anywhere ever. Like when I walk up to that, like don't get me wrong, I don't mind the menu of it. It's just one of those where I'm like, I don't want to be like, let's go to Schmoozies. I don't like saying.
You know what I like about award wieners? When I first saw award wieners, I felt the inspiration was Pink's in Hollywood, so because of all these different themes. So I don't know. I like that place.
Oh, Katrina!
It's okay to be wrong.
Katrina! Oh, she's picking up Pete idioms right there.
I'd say we vote her off.
Yeah, cut the feed. Cut the feed, Tyler. No. Just push her out of frame. That's fine. You're entitled to an opinion, I guess. Tyler, what do you think, though?
This leads me into which I think is the worst quick service location, which is Angry Dogs. I think Angry Dogs is basically award wieners with much less choice. And
you guys just don't like hot dogs.
I know how you were talking about how you love the fun sauces and stuff earlier. Yeah. It's literally ketchup, mustard, and buffalo sauce.
How dare you? There's
like a spicy ketchup as well.
There's a Chipotle something or other.
It's really, I don't know. To me, I'm just like, it's the most thoughtless quick service in the entire.
Thoughtless.
Yeah, like they didn't put much thought into what it was going to be.
What is his name? Anger is like Madman. They have his head glowing when he's like exploding. They renamed all the sauces.
I love the hot dogs there. I love the sauces. The only thing I will say is I don't like being handed a bag of hot fries is like the side option with it.
Yeah.
I get that like does follow suit in spicy fries, spicy.
I was going to say, if you
chips
just negate my hot dog
with
handed
that.
to you.
No. I like the dogs there. I just wish they would come up with something better to serve on the side than just hand you a bag of hot fries with it. That's just it's a little lazy.
I just think it's so expensive for them to hand. And I personally, I think a bag hot dog is the worst thing I could get. It's like you might as well put like some wet socks in there because that's what it smells like when you open it up.
That's what they were
and it's just like
around in.
And it's just like, so they give you a plain. It's like $10, and they give you a plain hot dog and a bag of Cheetos, and I'm just like. Yeah. What's the point of this? I don't know.
This is worse than award wieners. At least you get like potato.
Yeah, like at award wieners.
Things.
Yeah, at award wieners they'll have they have the fries. They have and then they have all the different toppings you can get on your hot dogs. They have plenty of different. So I'm not a hot dog person. I've said that countless times. But at least at award wieners they give you like a bunch of different choices. At Angry Dogs it's like you get the spicy dog or the plain regular dog, and it's just nothing that I would ever do.
Angry Dog, I like how it's like spicy. And you don't even have to put a sauce on if you don't want. Obviously, you're gonna. But I don't know. It's just a cart though. It's supposed to just be like a grab a hot dog and keep moving sort of a thing.
It is just a cart.
Good for like kids. So here I am. I'm gonna grab this for my kids because they don't. And then you can make it as spicy or as plain as you want. So that's why they have the option. But I think it's really meant for like a quick for the kids.
I understand that, but like also next door they have the Poultry Palace, and I think Poultry Palace is a much better choice for that type of thing. So, like me personally, I like the chicken over there much more than I would like getting a hot dog. So, you know, and I'm not a kid, so I'm not, you know, I can only do it from my point of view of what I like.
My issue with Poultry Palace is like you get a box of hot chicken in the sun, and there's nowhere to go with it really, and so you're just kind of like you're like a raccoon who has just gotten into the trash with like bones and meat, and like I don't dislike Poultry Palace, but it was not my favorite of the PIXAR, like when we experienced it and everything. So I don't know.
I have a question, not relating to this, but another one that I've eaten at before that I haven't eaten at in a while now because I wasn't impressed with it the first time. Has SMOKEJUMPERS gotten better?
Well, so do you mean specifically SMOKEJUMPERS, or
I ate there when it reopened. Okay,
yeah. So I mean, I personally think that there are certain things at SMOKEJUMPERS that are pretty tasty, and there's certain things that you never want to order. They've definitely upped their game in like the French fries and like onion rings department over time. And I've seen people say like they haven't changed their onion rings, but they definitely have. I don't care what anybody says. And it's one of those things where like you can get, they have the jackfruit barbecue sandwich there, which is really kind of a strange thing. It's like basically it's like pulled pork. They kind of emulate pulled pork with it, but it is super tasty. But then last time we went, Katrina got a cheeseburger, and it was like the driest. It was like they made it out of sawdust. So
the fries were good.
Yeah,
and my brownie was delicious.
And they have this s'mores dessert there that is like, I'm surprised it's not one of the things that people say you need to go and try this s'more on a regular basis, because it's this gigantic marshmallow that they like have chocolate and cookies and graham cracker in there, and it is
$5. Like,
yeah,
pretty
and it's
much
$5, and you could share that with somebody, and that's a super tasty dessert. So to me, it really depends on what you're going to order at SMOKEJUMPERS. Okay. I thought about it for a split second, but I think they've actually gotten better, and I do like the topping bar over there too. You can put on as many like jalapenos as you want because I'm sick in the head. So. I personally like it.
I like SMOKEJUMPERS, but it's burgers and fries and, you know, simple food.
Yeah, it's just one of those places I never, like, after the first time I went there, it's like I'm not impressed enough to go back. Same thing with the Boardwalk pasta place. Like, I didn't.
Oh, bummer.
I didn't care for that, but.
Oh, you know what? That was closed for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ate there once, and that was right after I almost threw up on California Screamin'. Remember that time? And I was in the corner. Yeah, that was good.
I would say Boardwalk Pizza is better than Alien Pizza Planet.
I would say that too.
Okay, I'll give it another shot.
All right. What about our favorites? Katrina, redeem yourself. What's your favorite?
God, I hope you're a cilantro fan. I'm going to say CUCAMONGA.
No, cut the feed. We're done.
Oh, jeez.
You don't like cilantro?
No. I can't win with him.
I hate cilantro.
Oh my gosh, that place is delicious. I don't know if that's probably yours too, Tyler, but ever since they redid the menu, I love eating here now. Like, if we need to get a quick bite to eat, we'll go over there and I'll get a burrito bowl or whatever, and it's delicious. Oh, I've never had any bad time there.
Are you talking about Cafe CUCAMONGA?
Huh?
COCINA. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I was so upset about your cilantro comment that I
blacked out for a second.
Yeah, I pretty much just blocked out everything you said. I do like this place, though. I will say that. Yeah, the cilantro does not actually bother me too much here. The torta, the sandwich was good. They had a really good dessert as part of the PIXAR the PIXAR Fest that was going on. They had a Miguel dessert there that was really good. And I've enjoyed everything I've eaten there. I've had like a salad, I've had the torta, I've had some tacos, I think, too, at one point, but I like it.
It's a good place.
Yeah. What about, I'm curious, Luella, where do you go when you like, Luella, tell us yours next. But how do you kids feel about these two?
Well, I don't know. I don't think anyone would choose this, but I love it. I love the Cozy Cone Cafe.
Oh, no, I love that place.
Yeah, I love it. And it's just all these different cones.
Yeah.
And it's just like the movie. And I have gone there specifically just to eat a chili cone queso. I love the chili cone queso. And it's shaped like a cone, and, you know, it's quick. This place is really quick. You can get your churros at one stand. You can get alcoholic beverages if you want. You get popcorn, ice cream. So I love the Cozy Cone.
I almost wrote that down, but I was like, no, because I was like, in my heart, I consider it a snack because I don't want people to judge me for eating lunch twice in a row. So, but I am 100% with you. Anybody who knows me, if you're coming with me and we're going to California Adventure, we are stopping at that area. I am getting a cone filled with delicious whatever, and I am all about it.
Yeah, the bread cone, and my kids like it, and I don't really think they accept annual pass discount there, so maybe it's kind of like a cart, but I love it. It's good.
What about you, Craig?
Well, I mean, I would say Cozy Cone. If we want to just call it a straight snack, then I'll leave it off. My second would be, I always think FLO'S is a good fallback on. It's not offensive in any way. It's pretty straightforward, but every time I've eaten there, whether it's for breakfast or their lunch/dinner options, it's always been solid. Like for breakfast, if I'm looking for a full sit-down breakfast, I know I can always go there and get the tamale breakfast platter. Like it's my go-to. And then with lunch and dinner, like the menu's changed over time, but I've never had anything I disliked there. So it's a good fallback on, but I don't typically eat quick service at California Adventure. I go back over to Disneyland for my quick service options.
Oh, see, I am all about all the quick options that are in California Adventure. I feel like I try to make, like, I'm stretching what the definition of a meal is by just continually eating everywhere. But I do. What about you, Tyler? What do you think?
So I'm going to go back to COCINA CUCAMONGA. That's the thing is, like, that place, you couldn't pay me to go eat at COCINA CUCAMONGA, and then they changed the menu this year. And to me, it was like eye-opening. I am one of those people that unapologetically likes Chipotle. And so, to me, they changed this into more of a Chipotle type thing with the cilantro lime rice. And
do people not like Chipotle?
What? No, I said I do like Chipotle.
Oh, okay.
I feel like a lot of people give you a bunch of crap for liking Chipotle, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I've said, oh, I like Chipotle, and people go, you like Chipotle? What's wrong with you? So maybe that's just in my neck of the woods.
Fine dining here in Florida. I don't know what people are giving you a hard time for.
Yeah, I don't know why, but anyway. COCINA CUCAMONGA, I mean, we talked about the torta ahogada, but that thing is amazing with the al pastor, and it has black beans, and it's like this big giant sandwich that they put sauce all over the top. And it's actually one of the places where you can actually find spicy food at Disneyland. Like, I'm a spice fanatic, and like, so I love the spice level on that thing. And we've tried, I think, all the meats there now, and none of them are bad. And you can get the tacos or the bowl, or, I mean, I suggest the torta, and it comes with a big pile of that cilantro lime rice, which sometimes can be a little dry, but it's just, it's amazing to me. And I hope that they don't change it, because I know a lot of people have that aversion to cilantro, and, you know, I don't want it to go the way of Pecos Bill, where they've kind of changed it away from the cilantro lime rice and stuff like that. So
I like Pecos Bill.
I don't know. For me, COCINA CUCAMONGA, number one. It used to be Garden Grill till they changed the menu here, but Garden Grill is now so often doing the specialty things. Like they changed their menu for Halloween, they changed their menu for Christmas and stuff. So Garden Grill, I like it best when it's just like the Mediterranean food that they have there. They've got like the lamb kofta or the beef kofta, I should say, and the different skewers with the tzatziki and the chimichurri and stuff like that. That's my other go-to when it's just the normal food over there at Garden Grill. But COCINA CUCAMONGA all the way.
So for me, it's in that same area, and the only reason it's not Cozy Cone is because in my brain I want to keep calling it a snack, so I don't just feel terrible about myself. But I really like Pacific Wharf Cafe. I know it's probably like not a lot of people's favorite or anything like that, but I've eaten there a couple times, and every time I very distinctly like remember eating there and enjoying every moment of it. You know, I really liked the bread bowls. It's basically you gotta go when you're in California events. You gotta go into the oh my gosh, I am forgetting the name of it. The area with the free bread.
Like the Bodine area.
Yeah. The Bodine, yeah. And you go in there, and I love that the sourdough, you can see all the sourdough being made there. And so, like, it's my favorite thing in the world that you can go around the corner and get soup in a sourdough bread bowl. Boom, there we go. I had
a really nice tour to take before, so you can see how your bread was made.
Yeah.
And that tour is really inspired by the one up north in San Francisco. So it's a good starting point to see about the history of the bread, and then you get your bread bowl. It's lovely.
Yeah, and I love that you don't have to get the soup in the bread bowl. So if it's like the summertime, you can do the salad and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, Craig used the word earlier about unoffensive. Like, you can get a sandwich there if you need to, but you can also get like I find that I buy one of the loaves of bread before I go sometimes, a lot of the time there too. And I love that they always have them in like different theme shape, you know, so they've got like the candy cane one right now, and then the pull apart Christmas tree one. And I liked when it was Groot bread, so it was like his head had the spicy jalapeno on it, and the thing. It was cute. But it's the place that I always want to go eat when I'm there, but I never necessarily get to. So it always feels like a treat when I do actually get the time to be able to go there. So that's why it's my favorite. But that's that. That is it. I'm gonna call it. That's it. We're done. So I honestly, again, we've said before that a lot of the food in Disneyland is really good. So those are our opinions on this. If you want to chime in with what your favorite or least favorite is, please feel free to do that. If you're watching the video, go ahead and leave those comments right below us in the comment section below this video. But thank you everybody for having this conversation with me. Thank you everybody for watching and listening, and thank you everybody throughout this whole year supporting this rebranding of the show and the different direction we're trying to take it in now. And I'm looking forward to a whole new year of whole new Disneyland experiences. And in fact, I'm going to be having one in just a few days. So
already had it
because this show came out after I was there. So, but yeah. So again, if you like this, please feel free to, if you're listening on iTunes, to rate and review the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to the channel. You can click that little bell. You'll get notified whenever we upload content with Disneyland, Disney World, Universal, all these places that we love to go and cover and everything like that. And I guess that's it. I hope everybody has a good rest of 2018, and we'll see you in 2019 with another episode of the Disneyland edition of the DIS Unplugged.